Luke Ainsworth is a master blacksmith wandering the street until he notices a girl almost getting killed by an insane knight. He rushes into action and uses a katana to cut the knight's sword and save the girl as he shows that he's a master in swordsmanship. The girl he saved is Cecily Campbell, a young knight and the head of a prestigious family responsible for keeping the peace in the independent trade city Houseman. But there's a catch. She doesn't have any knight skills. In fact, she never been in a real battle before. While patrolling through the market, she encountered the insane knight destroying the shops with his huge sword. Cecily hasn't been in a real fight before, making her useless and unskilled. But she walked forward to stop the knight with her sword, but she's too weak. She barely managed to block the knight's swings while getting knocked down several times, until her sword finally broke with a strike. Cecily fell down to her knees. She couldn't believe her family's heirloom was destroyed. A sword that represents the protection of their people was simply destroyed. The knight tried to finish her off, but that was when Luke jumped into action. Cecily is impressed by Luke's skill, but he simply mocks her lack of skill. She should stop pretending to be a knight when she doesn't have the skills. Cecily reaches Luke's residence and asks him to forge a sword for her as strong as his own. His family is blacksmiths, but he refuses to do so because he already quit being one. So he just makes swords for himself. Cecily tries to convince him how much she needs his help. She needs to carry her family's responsibilities and protect the city. She's the only one who can do it because his father passed away. Suddenly, they hear a sound from the forest and rush out. A man in black hides in the trees while controlling monsters called Inhumans to attack a cargo carrier. Cecily takes the guard's sword to prove her fighting skills and convince Luke. She tries to pierce a monster, but she cannot even scratch it. Luke is forced to save the useless girl and slashes the monster with one swing. Luke fights the other monsters. He dodges every attack as if he's putting on his dancing moves on the battlefield and slashes monster after monster. The guy in black makes a forbidden devil contract and transforms the bandit boss into a huge crystal devil. Luke tells Cecily how good for nothing she is and that she should run away. He wants to engage against the monster but can only block or evade its long-range attacks. One of those attacks breaks his sword while knocking him back. The monster once again attacks him from range, but Cecily knows she's good for nothing and body blocks for him. She wants to prove her determination to become a good knight and protect everyone. Luke believes in her will to fight and wants her to buy him time while he forges another sword. With Lisa's assistance, he uses magic to create a new powerful sword out of raw iron and hilt. It's no ordinary sword but a katana made with a special steel folding technique. The monster transforms itself into an even monstrous form. Instead of fighting back, Luke smartly dodges the attacks and gets nearer to the devil. Once he reaches close enough, he strikes the devil from the bottom while climbing the monster. From the top, he slashes the monster in half, making the black man run away. Luke's katana breaks down after the fight because magic-made weapons have low durability. Back on the shop, Cecily requests Luke to make her the strongest traditional katana that he possibly can. Luke asks for a large amount of money because the materials are expensive, especially if she wants it to be a high-quality katana. But she's unable to afford the price. Around 44 years ago, the devil named Valbanil appeared and triggered a worldwide calamity. Some people feared him while others worshipped him because of his power and called him a god. He gave humans powers in exchange for their souls, turning them into scary devils based on a contract. He was later sealed in a war and the devil contract was banned. However, there's a chance for him to appear again. If such a thing happens, the world won't be able to stand and will be destroyed. Realizing the danger, the nation decides to keep the demon's sword of wind in protection as it can aid the rivals. Commander Hannibal Quasar for some reason decides to task the good-for-nothing Cecily to guard the sword. But the sword has already walked in the city by itself as it can transform into a beautiful girl called Arya. Cecily shows Arya the town, making Arya feel happy. This is the first time in years she has seen something since appearing in the Valbanil War. Since then, she kept being used to killing other people. She can use the power of the wind. Cecily feels sorry for her and promises to protect her at all costs. Meanwhile, in the city central jail, the prisoners have accidentally eaten the brain-controlling bugs, making them turn into zombies. The city is under attack and Hannibal wants Cecily to stay inside and fill her duty to protect Arya. But she wants to fulfill her knight duties to protect the people and gets out to save them. But no matter how hard she tries, she still can't kill a zombie. She still thinks of them as real humans and not zombies. Arya admires Cecily's hard work to train day and night to protect the city. She thinks that Cecily's kindness and strong will is fit for her and wants to become her sword. Cecily appreciates Arya, but she cannot bear to control Arya. She just wants her to be friends and to become her partner. Hannibal planned to lure the enemy by putting the demon's sword on display. He asks Cecily to present Arya in the upcoming auction. Cecily doesn't want to put Arya in such a dangerous position, but Arya believes that Cecily will protect her. The next day, she represents Arya on stage and gathers a huge crowd. In between the audience, there's the psycho knight Cecily had encountered earlier. However, he's not the same as before. The man in black has performed the devil contract on him, turning him into a huge fire devil. Hannibal and the Spirit Prayer Squad want to capture the devil using a restraining spell, but their opponent is far more powerful than they ever thought. The devil breaks through the spell and starts throwing flames at the knights. Cecily gets knocked back in the process and Arya in her sword form slips from her hand. enabling the devil to take advantage and snatch Arya away. Cecily has to fulfill her promise to protect her friend at any cost and asks Luke to help her no matter what he wants as a reward. She's willing to sacrifice all her money and even her body to Luke, just to protect her friend. Luke is reluctant, but Lisa almost guilt trips him, forcing him to accept such a request. He starts forging a new sword to defeat the devil, but since the devil is made out of flames, he warns that his sword can only last for 3 strikes and Cecily has to deal the final blow. She knows about the pressure, but she won't back down from being a knight nor fail to protect her friend. Luke charges forward while dodging fireballs. He dodges a close range attack and gives his first slash, dodges another attack and slashes the devil's chest. His katana starts to show signs that it will break after the next attack. He runs to a plank of wood and uses it to deal his final aerial attack, cutting through the monster's arm, holding Arya. It's Cecily's turn to shine. She rushes to pick Arya up but burns her hand while holding it. Even though she is feeling the pain, she uses Arya to create a wind stream that is blocked by the monster's fire ability. Cecily, with her strong resolve to protect and save everyone, starts to overpower the devil, erasing his fireball. The desire to protect everyone makes her rush towards the monster and finally pierce it through its core. Finally, Cecily has killed her first enemy for the sake of protecting the citizens, so she's not regretting it at all. Now it's time for Arya to find her next master, but Cecily doesn't want Arya to be used for pointless killing. That's why she asks her to let Cecily be her companion. Arya is filled with tears of joy and accepts the offer. Meanwhile, Cecily is waiting for Luke to make her a katana, but he doesn't want to do it for an incompetent knight. Realizing this, Cecily decides to learn more, and she starts with knowing the details of a devil contract. The devil contract uses human flesh to turn a person into a devil. To initiate the contract, one has to read the dead words written on his heart. For this purpose, anesthesia is used on the intended person and his chest is cut open. The dead words are either written down or a mirror is used to reflect them on the reader. Cecily now gets more determined to stop the inhuman devil contract by all means. A few days later, Cecily is chased and attacked by 3 mysterious women who want the demon sword. One of them uncovers herself and attacks Cecily with her huge sword. After parrying some attacks, Cecily loses her sword. Arya wants Cecily to use her, but she feels reluctant. Arya is forced to remind her about their promise to protect other people, while she also wants to protect Cecily, to which Cecily finally accepts the offer, making Arya turn herself into her sword form. Cecily doesn't want to harm other humans. She attacks a nearby tree to scare off her enemies, but she has underestimated them. The young girl Doris is actually the owner of the demon sword of earth and hits the ground, launching a magic ball towards Cecily, who blocks with Arya's wind powers. Cecily is trying to avoid fighting as much as possible, but Doris has no plan to give up and attacks her. She hits the ground with her sword that cracks a hole under Cecily, making her fall inside. Fortunately, Arya acts in time and flies her master outside. Afterwards, Cecily takes the battle seriously and uses the wind power to knock Doris down, but she has no time to rest. The other girl, Margaret, attacks her with the demon sword of red light, a sword that can quickly extend its length, piercing Cecily's shoulder. Margaret uses her long range to slash Cecily's head off, but she blocks it with Arya's power. From long range, she uses the wind powers to make Margaret fall back, forcing the third girl, Penelope, to jump into the fight. Her demon sword with the power of slaying other demon swords. She parries and seals Arya's powers and engages in somewhat of a sword fight, but using a dagger. She tries to snatch Arya away, but Cecily punches her away, forcing the other girls to fight 3 versus Cecily. Doria doesn't even care about friendly fire and tries to hit Margaret and Cecily at the same time, but both back away in time. Doria kicks Cecily into Margaret, who restrains and then pushes Cecily to the ground to finally be finished by Doria's attack. After Cecily is sent flying, the 3 girls take Arya and try to leave, but Cecily, with all her will and desire to protect Arya, tries to get back up, just to notice Luke forging a katana that sends all of the 3 girls flying against the walls. Moments before, Luke and Lisa were approached at home by these girls' leader, Charlotte Fearbisher. She claimed she wanted to recruit Luke but was quickly rejected because he doesn't really care about her. She then told him that her bodyguards are already taking Arya away in the city, and he feels forced to check if Cecily is safe. But Charlotte tries to stop him using her demon sword of black flame. She uses her black fireball, but it's quickly dispelled by Luke's katana. She doesn't have any real sword skills and starts to randomly swing her sword while launching more fireballs at Luke. He rushes into her, dodging all of her attacks, and with a single swing snatches her sword and took her with him to find Cecily's location. Later at the mayor's office, Charlotte introduces herself as the illegitimate child of the Empire. She wanted the demon swords and the sacred blacksmith to get herself and her mother accepted by the Empire while presenting a royal sword as proof of her status. Later in the night, Charlotte sits down with Cecily's mother, Madame Lucy, and talks out her heart. Inside the cover of A Strong Princess, Charlotte is just a little girl who wants to live in a warm family house. She doesn't want to disappoint her dead mother by giving up on her wish to make the Empire accept them. Madame Lucy believes that Charlotte should do what makes her happy instead of running towards an unreachable goal. Her mother must have wished the same for her too. Sadly, this is not the end of the little princess's struggles. The mayor has received a reply from the Emperor, who calls Charlotte and her guardians thieves of the demon swords and orders to send them back to the Empire for severe punishment. The mayor assures them he will find a way to save save the girls, but Charlotte has broken down after getting abandoned by her father. The next day, the Emperor sends his forces to the town. The mayor suggests Charlotte to escape to the garrison state and take shelter over there. However, this isn't what she wants. Her 3 guardians also refuse to agree with the settlement. They want to make Charlotte smile by fulfilling her mother's wish, but it seems impossible now. Cecily feels pity for them and wants to find a source of their happiness. After talking to Luke and Lisa, Cecily realizes what she actually needs to do. Cecily tries to convince Charlotte to start a better life. For the sake of her death's mother's wish, she's putting the life of her dear friends in danger. Charlotte understands the point and decides to live as a family with her guardians. Before leaving the town, she tells Cecily that a man named Siegfried had given them the demon swords and encouraged them to do the illegal deeds. After the tough routine, Cecily finally gets a day off. While roaming the streets, she meets a girl named Elsa who requests to meet Luke to get her dagger repaired. Luke checks the dagger and declares it unrepairable. He and Cecily visits the grave of his childhood friend and lover Lisa Oakwood. She was killed by Valbanel while visiting the mountain caves 3 years ago. Luke still regrets not being able to save her. Therefore, he's in search of a sword that can beat Valbanel. Cecily and Lisa shared the same determination and dream of becoming a powerful knight. Therefore, Luke gets attracted to her, though he doesn't want to be driven away by feelings. Meanwhile, at the shop, Elsa says that this dagger was used to kill people who are in severe pain. It originally belongs to a knight whose daughter died when he returned from war. However, Elsa is not a regular customer. She's sent there to find the person with Valbanel's blood. After her departure, a mysterious old man attacks Luke's shop with the demon sword of lightning, determined to kill Lisa, calling her Valbanel. The man attacks Lisa with a thunder bomb, but his sword disobeys him and saves Lisa. The man still escapes despite his weakened body. Luke thinks that the enemies are after him because he is responsible for forging the sacred sword. Valbanel is sealed with a sacred sword, but it can't hold him anymore. Therefore, a new sword is needed and everyone is relying on Luke for this task. Luke wants to forge the sword as soon as possible, but he's lacking something he can't figure out. Later in the market, Arya runs into Elsa and senses that she's also a demon sword. Arya always wanted to know her origin, but the reality isn't sweet. A demon sword is born as a result of hatred towards Valbanel. The purpose of a demon sword is to kill their god Valbanel. At night, the man in black meets Elsa and his owner and takes them to attack Luke. Cecily tells Lisa to hide away and she proceeds to fight Elsa. Luke deals with the man in black who has the demon sword of Sable that can corrode anything. He uses the sword powers to attack Luke, but even though Luke slashes the attack in half, it still hits his arm and burns him. Seeing Luke in danger, Lisa comes out, which triggers the old knight, and he attacks her with a thunderbolt. Fortunately, Cecily deflects the attack away with her powerful wind strike. The old knight is spitting out blood and his inner organs are breaking down, but he's not giving up. He puts all his remaining strength into the last strike but can't hold it for long. Arya tries to stop Elsa, but she believes that a demon sword should be ready to sacrifice her life for her master. Saying this, she takes the attack on herself. The old knight makes his last wish of getting free from the pain, and Elsa ends his life with her dagger while also dying on spot. The identity of the man in black is revealed as the Grand Master of Imperial Order Siegfried. He also tells the truth about Lisa. She's actually a devil, having Valbanel's blood running in her veins. Luke created her with the flesh of her childhood friend Lisa Oakwood to save himself from Valbanel. Later in a meeting, Luke is scolded for not being able to complete the sacred sword yet and also accuse him of performing a devil contract with his eye as a catalyst to turn Lisa Oakwood into a devil. Cecily, she goes to apologize to Lisa, who bursts into tears and says that she may have the face of Lisa Oakwood, but she doesn't have the same personality, making it difficult for Luke to see Lisa every day and remember the death of his loved one. All that Lisa wants is to stay beside him doing daily chores and forging swords. Hearing this, Cecily rushes back to the conference and reveals that Lisa Oakwood has performed the devil contract herself to create a sweet girl that can stay beside Luke forever. It wasn't Luke's fault. She believes that the hatred towards Valbanel is not enough and Luke has to put in his faith and love in forging the sacred sword successfully. Luke apologizes to Lisa for his past behavior and wishes her to live a life of her own instead of being his loved one's shadow. Suddenly, a bunch of Inhumans attacks them. Siegfried has brought an army of Inhumans and devils to destroy the city. Cecily rushes to help the other knights while Luke is trying his best to protect Lisa. Suddenly, a devil destroys the bridge and appears from the water. In no time, Luke slices it down and leaves Lisa behind to encounter Siegfried. The evil man enjoys the calamity of taking over innocent people. Luke doesn't care about his life and fights Siegfried with all his might. Lisa informs Cecily about Luke's disappearance and they both rush to save him. On their way, they encounter another Imperial knight. Cecily fights her, managing to dodge several attacks but is pushed against a wall. The Imperial Knight uses her long spear to deal the final blow. However, she misses it and Cecily uses Arya and to create a powerful wind strike that drags the enemy into defeat. As a result, Arya's power is completely exhausted and she must stay behind to recover her power. Luke is struggling against Siegfried and can't stand for long against the demon sword, as it's corroding his katana. In his last strike, his katana breaks down and he gets severely injured. Cecily stands to save him and is determined to protect her loved ones till the end. Seeing her determination, Luke decides to forge a katana for her. He uses the magical forging technique to create one of the most powerful katanas the world has ever seen. That's Cecily's katana. This is the moment of life and death. Cecily puts all her efforts and skills into fighting Siegfried. She manages to parry several of his attacks until she breaks his sword in half. With this opportunity, she stabs Siegfried's chest, heavily injuring him. Siegfried warns that he will remember their names and he disappears in the air. However, the city of Houseman is safe from any danger with their dedicated knight. Cecily and the sacred blacksmith